Howdy, and welcome to the Flutter Bounty Hunters channel. Every quarter, I like to provide a review as to what we've done and accomplished over the previous few months so that you're always updated with what's happening on our end. As you may have noticed, we just finished quarter 2 of 2022, and as such, I want to go through some of the things that we've done over the last few months. Let's jump on in. One thing is that I went and presented at Flutter Silicon Valley. In this case, I wore my super declarative getup, but the presentation covered both some updates around creative coding with super declarative, as well as some open source updates with the Flutter Bounty Hunters. I plan to present at this meetup every chance that I get, and so far the meetup has been happening about every couple months. I think there's another one scheduled for August 2022. So if you are in Silicon Valley, I hope you'll drop by and see what's happening with both super declarative and the Flutter Bounty Hunters and everything else in the area. If you aren't in the area, you can always view these presentations and videos online on the Flutter Silicon Valley channel after the event. All right, with that out of the way, let's talk about some packages that we've introduced. We've created a number of prototypes that are looking for funding. These prototypes they provide a certain level of ability as is. They do a certain job, but they're not necessarily production ready. Some of them might need some testing, some API improvements, some additional features. If any of these abilities look like something that your company needs or wants, please do reach out to Fund a Milestone. We'd love to get companies involved and help solve your problems with these packages. So the first is FFmpeg CLI. FFmpeg is a video rendering tool that you typically use at the command line. Simple things are relatively simple, but moderate tasks for composing videos with FFmpeg are incredibly difficult. And one of the difficulties is doing it at the command line, actually writing bash scripts and things like that. FFmpeg CLI allows you to compose your FFmpeg commands using Dart code. So you get full access to programming language features, which you don't usually have in a terminal, and I think it makes it a lot easier. Related to FFmpeg CLI is something called Cutting Room. See, FFmpeg CLI is still all about FFmpeg. You have to understand FFmpeg. But with Cutting Room, I've introduced a bunch of video composition concepts into the API so that you can actually compose videos rendered with FFmpeg, but without really understanding much at all about how FFmpeg works. So if you'd like to use a Dart package that allows you to compose videos that, again, are rendered with FFmpeg, but you can put together without really understanding how FFmpeg works, go check out Cutting Room and see if it meets your needs. Every video on this channel and every video on the Super Declarative channel are composed and rendered using Cutting Room as the Dart API and FFmpeg as the renderer. SuperBanners. SuperBanners is a package that makes it really easy for you to create custom corner banners. So think about the debug banner that's always up in the corner on your new Flutter apps. Imagine being able to use any color for the banner and actually put any content in the banner that you choose, not just text, but any widget at all, and to have the banner sized and shaped appropriately. That's what SuperBanners does, so go take a look if you'd like to use those in your app. Every Flutter website that I build these days, I put a Built with Flutter banner in the top left corner so that I help spread the word about the use of Flutter on web. SuperTextLayout. This is not really new code, but it is a new package. We took a lot of the text layout capabilities that we built into Super Editor, extracted those capabilities into its own package called SuperTextLayout, and then we actually improved how that layout works. We solved what is called the next frame problem. If you want to know more about that, you can check the README in SuperTextLayout, or you can watch my previous presentation at Flutter Silicon Valley. But SuperTextLayout allows you to create custom text highlights, custom text carets, overlays, anything based on text layout, which is not particularly quick or easy to do with Flutter. We've built around the existing Flutter APIs to make those things a lot quicker and easier and to give you a lot more expression over what you do with text. So go check that out. SuperTextLayout you can find inside of the SuperEditor mono repo. Flutter test robots. So as you can imagine, between SuperEditor and SuperTextField and SuperTextLayout, we write a lot of tests that deal with keyboard input, multiple characters at the same time, IME input, clipboard manipulation, tapping and dragging in certain areas. And so the Flutter Bounty Hunters have created Flutter Test Robots, a package that provides easier and more effective APIs for simulating human interactions in your tests. For example, if you want to press, let's say, Command C to copy if you're testing copy functionality for a Mac, that actually requires a minimum of probably 4 different calls to the widget tester to press Command down, to tap the C key, to release Command, and then pump and settle to actually see what happened in your app. What we've done in Flutter Test Robots is just take every conceivable shortcut combination, and we've created a different method for every one. So there's a single API to press Command C in Flutter Test Robots. Now, certainly that's a large API surface to maintain, but the point is that for you in your test, it gives you exactly what you need in the quickest possible way. This API will expand greatly over time. At some point, we may expand to even include things like TV remotes and game controllers. It just depends the direction that Flutter goes. So go check out Flutter Test Robots if you happen to test user interactions that you want to be easier to coordinate. And here again, if there are various things that you need to do in your test, if you're simulating human interactions and this package doesn't have what you need, reach out to us about funding a milestone. We'd love to add more abilities that the community can take advantage of. Over the last 3 months, we've also seen a number of applications come in to join the Flutter Bounty Hunters. We've had about 30 applications come in. Of those 30 applications, we currently have 3 developers who are trying to determine if they're a good fit for the team. They're working on some tickets, putting up pull requests. And then 2 developers have actually become Flutter Bounty Hunters. One of them has become a specialist, and the other is a general purpose bounty hunter who's doing a lot of useful work right now on SuperTextField. As always, if you'd like to join the team, feel free to send in your application. The team over time can become as large as possible because this isn't a full-time gig. It's something we all do on the side of our primary work. And so the larger the network of developers that we put together, the better. It means there's always someone available to work on things that need to get done. And then there's this kind of constant pipeline where I'm always taking an application off the stack, putting the developer through the trial run, the probationary period. And then if the developer looks like they're a good fit for the process, that developer is a part of the team. And as soon as work comes in, they'll be paid to work on an open source project. Now, where I really need your help in the near term is to find more companies that understand the value of open source development. The difficulty with finding clients is that there's no good place to really find them. At meetups, I find developers like you. On Twitter, I find developers like you. Here on this channel, I find developers like you. But there's no good one place to find the CEOs, the CTOs, the directors of engineering, the engineering managers. These people, they're all scattered about. So if you're a member of a team or a company that might be able to utilize shared tools, if you possibly like to fund, or if your company would like to fund part of an open source project, share the cost with other companies, please do reach out. The more companies we get in our pipeline, the more companies that fund milestones, then the more developers I can bring into the Flutter Bounty Hunters, and the more that we can pay developers to work on open source tools that benefit everybody in the community. It really is a win-win-win for all parties, but we do need to actually be able to bring in the clients who then understand the value and the purpose of building these open source packages. So if you know anybody who would like to join funding, please do bring them in. Have them reach out to me on Twitter. That's probably the best place to get in contact. Send me a message on Twitter, and then we'll take it from there. As always, these are the places that you can reach us at Flutter Bounties on Twitter, flutterbountyhunters.com, Flutter Bounty Hunters on GitHub, and then we have, of course, this channel on YouTube, which I hope you have or will subscribe to. So that's what we've got over the last 3 months in Q2 of 2022. I'll see you back here for another update at the end of Q3. Y'all come back now, you hear?